A strong foundation is critical in a classroom community and in every relationship you form with a student. If you try and build a relationship on no foundation, the potential for it to fail is high. If you form a strong foundation for these relationships to grow off of, they will succeed. Strong foundations keep us firmly planted. In cheerleading, if you don't form a strong foundation before you put a pyramid in the air, it is likely to fall apart.
Yeah, we're getting mean about it. We'll crush your dreams and we'll sleep good about it. So lay down, you don't want this. Lay down, you don't want this.
I see what you see, you know that we're so clean. Bow down to our team, reigning like we're the kings.
So lay down, you don't want this. Lay down, you don't want this.
We'll take you by surprise, have the competition looking tough. Y'all can't handle us.
A classroom environment is like a team. You win together, you lose together, and you learn together. The students in a classroom should be a support system for each other, just as if they were on a team. But for each individual student, that support system needs to be built by the teacher, their parents, and everyone else in that classroom. Supporting each other by forming strong relationships gives students people to depend on in a classroom environment. Relationships with students is how teachers can build successful classrooms. If teachers take the time to build relationships with their students and those students' families, kids will be more willing to learn because they will be in an environment where they feel comfortable. Rita Pearson explains that kids don't learn from people they don't like. If teachers don't take the time to form strong relationships with their students, students may not meet those high expectations we have as teachers. How powerful would our world be if we had kids who were not afraid to take risks, who had a cheerleader, an adult who would not give up on them, who understands the power of a strong relationship, and who insists that they can be the best they can possibly be. As a cheerleader, these strong relationships are just as important. You build them with your coach, with your teammates, and they quickly become your family. If you do not have these strong relationships, you will not perform well as a team. Just like if there are not strong relationships formed in the classroom, the students will not perform well.
And we know why kids drop out. We know why kids don't learn. It's either poverty, low attendance, negative peer influences. We know why. But one of the things that we never discuss, or we rarely discuss, is the value and importance of human connection. Relationships. James Comer says that no significant learning can occur without a significant relationship. George Washington Carver says all learning is understanding relationships. Everyone in this room has been affected by a teacher or an adult.
Trust is important in a classroom because, yes, they won't learn from someone they don't like, but they also won't learn in an environment they don't feel comfortable in. This includes trust between the students and the teacher, as well as trust between all the students themselves. When students trust teachers and other students in a classroom, it results in increased participation, more respect, easier classroom management, better dialogue, and student openness. Across the board, creating a classroom environment built around the trust of one another only helps the students and the teachers in that classroom. Trust is a key component of the learning process because the more we trust each other, the better we are able to cooperate, and therefore, the prospects for progress are better. Trust is such an important aspect of cheerleading. You have to be able to trust your teammates to save you from hitting the ground. This relates to the classroom environment because students must trust teachers to help support them to keep them from failing when they need it the most. Equity is so important when it comes to forming relationships in a classroom. This equity has to be differential because not all students need the same relationships with their teachers as others. A commitment to excellence is not complete without a commitment to equity. All classrooms are composed of individual learners. This means teachers need to be able to know their students and know that students learn differently, at different paces. Because of this, teachers need to be able to differentiate classroom activities, assignments, and relationships they have with their students. As a teacher, we have to make sure every kid's needs are met in order to foster learning for every student. Because students are very different, this is different for every student. Boise State's core practices that revolve around equity focus on opportunities for all students to be productive and participate. This can be different from student to student based on how they learn, the rate at which they learn, and extra help needed inside and outside of the classroom to meet the expectations of all students in the classroom may differ from student to student. We can provide this equity in our classrooms by taking the time to truly learn about our students. This includes their needs, cultures, aspects they can bring to the classroom, and who they are as people. As teachers, we can do this by forming those strong relationships by taking the time to learn about every one of our students. There will be students who need additional levels of support, while others don't. If teachers take the time to learn about their students, as well as team up with families to be partners in the child's education, they can provide the support and provide equality in the student's education. As teachers, there are many ways to form strong foundations, a support system, strong relationships, and trust in our classroom. A lot of these ways are talked about in the core practices themes. Some of the most applicable ones are highlighted in Domains 2 and 3. Domain 2 of the Danielson Framework highlights classroom environment and culture. I believe that this is so important and relates to being cheerleaders for our students because it is how we get to know them and support them. Throughout this framework, it calls for teachers recognizing students' interests and cultures and honoring them in the classroom. It talks about supporting students by listening and responding, as well as supporting their ideas in the classroom. Domain 2 focuses mostly on the students and how their ideas are integrated into the classroom, how they can have equal access to education, and how students can reach their full potential in the classroom by productively learning and having access to anything they would possibly need to help them learn, provided by the teacher. It's our job as teachers to help students succeed and support them in any way necessary so they can succeed. Domain 3 of the Danielson Framework also helps support equity in relationships between teachers and students. This domain focuses on different means of support to help students succeed during lessons. It focuses on different ways to communicate to different students, varied activities to meet different learning styles in the classroom, appropriate expectations for all students, and varied techniques to reach all students. Because our classrooms will be filled with students who vary greatly from one another, we as teachers will have to vary the ways we teach our students. Everyone learns differently and at their own pace. If we don't take the time to form relationships with our students, we will never truly understand what they need from us as their educator. We are their support system in the classroom. We have to be able to support them by learning what they need from us and providing the equality to all students.
Gave him a saying to say, I am somebody. I was somebody when I came. I'll be a better somebody when I leave. I am powerful and I am strong. I deserve the education that I get here. I have things to do, people to impress, and places to go.
Yes, it is our job as educators to teach. But it is also our job to form lasting relationships with our students. You probably won't like them all, but the strongest relationships are formed through challenges. Leave the legacy of an everlasting relationship with all students you encounter because every kid deserves a champion. Every kid deserves a cheerleader.